Hello, everyone, and welcome back to JaianMusic Notes. Today, we are continuing our Studio Ghibli escapade, our adventure. And today, with me, I have Gabriel. How are you?
Hey there, I'm pretty good. What about you?
I'm doing very well. Very excited to get into. Let's get on a merry-go-round here. Let's float into a castle, a musical castle. So many things to talk about. A moving castle, a waltz. So many beautiful music pieces to discuss. But before we get into all that, for the unfamiliar, Gab and I have been traveling through the musical land of Studio Ghibli. We've done. What have we done? Mononoke, Ponyo,
Spirited Away.
Spirited Away, and today Howl's Moving Castle. Gab, for the people who do not know you and are not familiar with our Studio Ghibli music love, tell us about yourself and everything. Just give us the vibes.
I've been a musician for over 17 years, over 7 years professionally. I teach at a university in Montreal. It's music is basically all I do.
Yeah, I love it. Gab is also a metalhead, and I think we will get into what's your favorite scene to score metal music to in Howl's Moving Castle. But I will table that till when we get there. A reminder to everyone that the podcast is sponsored by Laser Audio Technologies. So if you use code JaianMusic, you get 30% off. And whether you're making orchestral pieces or adding cinematic depth to your productions, Laser Audio Technologies is here for you. And every dollar generated from the code goes straight back into the podcast, such as GoPro Kyo, who does all of the artwork. Okay, man, I feel like merry-go-round of life is the only starting point that makes sense to me. I don't know about you.
100%. Well, see, the main thing is when it comes to Howl's Moving Castle, the whole soundtrack is basically one song. I don't know if you feel that way as well, but
kind of. I see what you mean.
It's Spirited Away is a little similar on that aspect, but not as much. For example, if you go through the movie, you'd see about 65-70%, maybe even more of the movie, there's no music in it at all. There's barely any music. There's the main theme that you're gonna hear in Merry-Go-Round of Life, for example, that will be coming back all the time. Not just throughout this song, but throughout all the songs. And the one thing that is going to change is the arrangements around it.
Yes.
That's it. The chord progression stays very similar, and the theme comes back very often. The main thing that's going to change is the instruments that are being used and the adds to the specific chords. But the roots are going to stay the same.
Absolutely. What it is for me is that there's this waltzing that just kind of shifts in time signatures. The tempo is kind of all over the place. It breathes. It's sometimes there's like even moments where I'm like, I remember like trying to like tap the tempo, certain versions of Merry-Go-Round of Life, to put it simply. And I'm like, I can't figure out the BPM on this. It's like super specific. It's really random, but it's also very not specific. And what I like too is the construction of this thing, where we have like a sort of solo piano, and then like just like strings attach themselves to it, and it just kind of builds on. Like, give me your perspective on like how this song literally grows, like on it from an instrumentation perspective.
Well, if you take the intro, for example, it's just piano. That's it. And then you hear the melody, and it's much slower than when you're going to hear it. That may have when you're going to hear it later on. that may have been one of the reasons that you had an issue to find the rhythm. Is that later on it's going to go much faster, but it's basically going to be the exact same theme. It's going to be the exact same theme. It's going to go further on that way. There's not much that's going to change from there on. We were talking about Hisaichi. I think you're the one that mentioned it to me. He's got a very minimalist approach.
Yeah.
To some elements of his music. Howl's Moving Castle, the soundtrack is exactly that 80% of the time. And
I think that... Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, sorry. Finish your thought.
It's all good.
You were cooking.
And when you go look at Merry-Go-Round of Life, that's the perfect example, especially in the beginning, because it's basically just piano. That's it. And it's almost... Yeah, go ahead.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I think there's so much... We're so excited to talk about this. I'm tripping over my words a little bit.
Absolutely.
Because there's so much cool stuff to talk about. Because at this point, like Hisaishi and Miyazaki have like collaborated on a lot of films. Like we kind of talked about this before with like on Mononoke, Spirited Away, they have like the themes, the leitmotifs like figured out. But like in Howl's Moving Castle, like we have Sophie who ages and de-ages, and we have shifts in form with the owl, and I really find that like the transformation between these like characters in a sense is why we have so many different musical transformations in the same songs.
Absolutely.
Like we have like subtle fragmented moments that like require this like really active listening, like, oh, just a piano twinkle, let's see where it goes. But do you find that like, do you also have that same thing where you subconsciously pay more attention when like the music feels like it's literally quieting down?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's either because there's going to be a climax, or it's about to calm down. Exactly, like there's a big transition into another part of the movie. But there are big stances specifically in Howl's Moving Castle when you're not gonna have any music at all, and this makes the soundtrack that much more important, because when you start hearing something, you know that something important is about to happen.
Right. There's that sort of a pickup. I was like looking into this. I found some really interesting videos about like the music release for this thing, where like Howl's Moving Castle comes out, but before even the film comes out, we have the album cover being released. 10 tracks from the Czech Philharmonic Orchestra, conducted by Joe Hisaishi. We have rearranged experimental versions of everything, and then later on, the theme song releases, and then later on in that same year, we have like literal like tracks that are actually coming out, like the film release companion soundtrack. What do you think of like the fact that we had a sort of like pre-release close to the film release, and like with the film release formation of the music? Like I typically see like, oh, the theme song for the anime comes out the week before, sure, let's get hyped on Crunchyroll. But like this is like a very specific way of releasing things for this film. Like any opinions or sentiments about that?
Well, I feel like Joe as a composer has built probably one of the biggest and strongest fan bases there are in that specific niche. So marketing wise, it would be a brilliant idea to do a pre-release, because people aren't just hyped about a Ghibli movie, they're hyped about everything else that's around it, because it's not just a movie, it's a piece of art.
It is a piece of art, and I really like the way you're putting that. And then Thank you. Also what I really enjoyed, and we can maybe we're gonna get a little more musically theoretical in this episode, I feel like, just because there's only so much to say here. I try to stay away, but I really like these different tempo variations a lot. We were talking about the waltz, the feeling of floating, and these sophisticated textures. in the polyrhythms. Like, what were your thoughts on like just how the I guess the movement of the music in Merry-Go-Round of Life, and just like the movement of the music as we watch the film unfold, like felt to you, like on a rhythmic level?
On a rhythmic level, it's a lot of waltz. You know, it kind of adds to the suspended chords when you want something that floats, something that's very relaxing. You know, I feel like it's crazy that a movie can have such a huge part of it about war, which is very rare for a Ghibli movie as well, and yet still be so serene about it, because there's huge moments where there's very violent wars going on, and yet it doesn't feel that brutal. You know, it doesn't feel as visceral. You're just really into the story.
No, absolutely. It doesn't feel that visceral. I completely agree with you. The thing too here is, like, I guess, how can I put this? I like the structure of these songs, and obviously we can like step away a little bit from Merry-Go-Round of Life.
It's all good.
There's like these sort of like, how can I say, pickups and drop off points in the songs too, where like when we have like the solo piano introduction of the theme, just very intimate, and then we just get like sustained strings to join the piano, a solo violin, counter melodies. And then we have the violas that double the violins at a lower octave, and like all together we get a full orchestration like within 2 minutes of this thing, and it releases. I really find that like the use of like Joe Hisayashi's use of piano and like other orchestral instruments like a violin and strings, like when you look at the combination of those two, like for someone who does metal, like how would you compare, like is it like the same use as like a guitar and a bass guitar in metal? Do you see what I mean, where you have like a lead instrument and then you have a supporting instrument coming in too?
I get what you mean. Compared to metal, it stays very with a very minimalist approach, because metal, you know, there's over 80 some genres of metal. So there's a lot of genres you can compare it to. But if you go out of, you know, the big heavy metal, death metal, thrash metal, I'm not saying that to bash those some genres, by the way. But if you go into something more symphonic, into something a little more industrial, or sometimes as well into something more modern, Animals as Leaders could be a great example of that. There are a lot more than just guitars and bass. There's a ton of elements. Like, I've produced tracks with easily over 80 different tracks. Well, I've produced songs with over 80 different tracks easily. It's not how you're gonna hear metal at the end of the day, but you really want often this big wall of noise, you know? Compared to Hisaishi, in a different way, in that movie specifically, you're going to want something very soft. You know, it's something that adds to the story.
Absolutely. It's like something that like just kind of sustains and supports the story as we like talk, or like as we like listen to like what the characters have to say, or like as we see like a how can I say, like as we see like a castle floating.
Yeah, exactly.
And what I feel like, we have tracks like Sophie in Exile that's literally like, as far as I can tell, the same type of theme as the main theme, like super gentle, introspective, solo piano, like just these little minor keys. And I like, because we also have tracks like 90-Year-Old Girl and Sophie's Castle. These are like musical fragments. They're very short pieces that like come together, reassemble and deassemble. I listening more to this, like I understand the relationship in the themes here. Like we have like Howl's musical identity with tracks like The Wizard's Waltz. We have Sophie's musical identity with like Sophie in Exile. Like, how do you feel about like specific tracks not necessarily being character things, but being very attached to characters by just like the name of the track and like the association of the character on screen. Like not a theme, but like as close as it can be without calling it a character theme.
Honestly, I feel like most of the other tracks are meant to embellish the main theme, which is why, for example, in Sophie for Exile, you're gonna hear the main theme. It's all leitmotifs, you know, for example.
Yeah.
But it works perfectly. When you think of Howl's Moving Castle, the first thing that's gonna come in your ear is exactly that one theme, you know? It's easy to recognize, it's easy to catch your ear, and
it's a very just nice theme. Yeah, I completely agree with that. And then like let's maybe move more to like my favorite question, and then maybe we'll, in part 2 of this episode we can like go into more thoughts here. But
sure.
Let's say you had a handle Instagram that described you as a metalhead. Let's say that was a thing, okay?
Yeah.
And then let's say you had experience in metal music, and let's say you played metal music, and let's say that you had the ability to score for film. Okay, like very hypothetical scenario right now. And that's very hypothetical scenario.
It is quite the scenario you got there, but
I really thought this one through. Gab, just for you.
It works. I like it. You did a great job.
If you had to choose one scene from Howl's Moving Castle to score with a metal soundtrack, which one would it be? And then what genre, what subgenre, what niche subgenre of metal would you choose?
Probably the first time that Howl opens the black door.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. That one specifically. If I had to choose one, that would be it. It would be something kind of melodic, not without full, not by going directly into melodic death metal. It would have slightly death metal influence, but I would go something more. If I had to name drop one band that I would want it to sound like, it would be Alcest. It has a lot of shoegazy elements. It has a lot of melodic elements. It has a lot of DSBM elements as well, which is a subgenre of black metal that is very depressive and melodic. Usually known, black metal in general is known for a poor production, not to thrash the genre, but it is what it is. I would take Alcest tend to take that out of the equation. Usually the production is very good. And I feel like, considering that Howl's Moving Castle is a golden standard, you would need a golden standard production. So Alcest would be the perfect fit for me. So,
want to hear my take? I never answered this question, but I
want to hear it.
I have a really wild idea.
You thought about it, right?
I thought about it. I was kind of like skimming through some scenes today, and I was like, "What?" I know I'm going to ask Gab this question. So what do I want to answer this with?
Perfect.
And mine is the scene of Sophie and Howl walking in the air.
Yeah.
You remember like when they're like they like lift up, and then they like he's like, "Oh, now straighten your legs and start walking."
Oh,
and
in the
like
beginning.
walking in the air. I don't know why, but I could just have the sickest breakdown sync to footsteps like dun 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 dun, like on some doom metal, like really just like dun 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 dun. I don't know why, but I would. That would be. I don't think it's a good idea. I'm just saying that's what came to my mind.
You know, Meshuggah could probably do it real well.
Meshuggah would be such a
because Meshuggah are kind of known for being pillars into their own genre. Like they are extremely influential when it comes to modern metal. I feel like having them work with Studio Ghibli would be
insane,
incredible. Like two.
You know what would be even more insane?
Mm-hmm.
That actually happening now that you mentioned it.
Yeah, that would be even better. I could say that I called it. I love it.
Yeah, exactly. I would love like some type of like merry-go-round of life, like power ballad.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's something like that. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like just Ghibli films and metal, like this is like a really niche topic on the podcast that I'm so glad we birthed, and like it just becomes part of the conversation every single time.
Absolutely. It's great.
Obviously, these episodes are weekly, and I have a whole other section of the Google Docs that I want to get into with Gab, but the listeners will have to appreciate that next week. So for now, we can let's just like close it out here. But there's a lot more to say. I have a lot more thoughts, and Gab has a lot more thoughts. Gab, for now. Only for now, because in the next 3 minutes, you and I were just hopping right back in.
It's all good.
Where can people find you?
Currently on Instagram, but there's a lot coming on the way. So soon you'll be able to find me elsewhere. But for now, Instagram would probably be better. My handle is Gab the Metalhead.
Love it. And for myself, I'm at JaianMusic on social media. JaianMusic.com is my website, leads to everything else. Use code JaianMusic to get 30% off over on Laser Audio Technologies for your creative effects plugins. Shout out to GoPro Keo for the artwork. And of course, give us a 5-star review in your favorite podcatcher. New video, new podcast, new episode every single week. I cover a bunch of anime music on my channel. Come check it out. Appreciate you. And we will see you very soon. Goodbye, everyone.
Have a good day.